Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Paul Bertozzi, the president and CEO of Live Oak Contracting, a general contracting firm in the multifamily development industry. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul, you grew your company's revenue from $829,000 in 2014 to $62 million in 2017, a 7,382% increase. And in 2018, you hit around 97 million. Before we talk about how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, Live Oak Contracting is a third-party multifamily general contractor based in Jacksonville, Florida. Our area of work is primarily throughout the Southeast. We have developed some clients up in the New England markets as well, and have been working up in those markets for the past 3 years also. Our focus is creating partnerships with our clients and really bringing the value of the company and to their projects on the front end, focusing on the pre-construction and design, constructability, to really separate ourselves from other GCs that may be looking at shorter term cycles with their development partners and more of a bid cycle than a negotiation or partnership cycle. So our focus has been on working closely with the design teams, with our development partners from the beginning during the phases of construction. When we're not actually building, we're making sure that what is being put on paper can be built. So that's where we've brought the most value and to our clients, and that's where we've been able to really achieve a great core group of clients that we continue to develop for year after year.
So as a general contractor, let me make sure I have this straight in my mind. You're responsible for, I get what you just shared with me now, but then when it gets to actual construction, you're just overseeing it all and you have subcontractors that take care of everything?
Correct. So we're primarily construction management at risk. So we have a great group of subcontractors that we work with as well from project to project. We have relationships throughout the industry with groups that focus in the multifamily. So we're able to utilize them on projects depending on the market. From some are more local to certain markets, whether it's just in one state or regional or national. So our development partners, subcontractors, vendors, they play a key role in our success as well, and it's the partnership that we have with them that has helped us to continue to win work time and time again.
What's meant by the phrase construction management at risk?
So we do not self-perform. We are construction management. We have field managers as well as project managers, so field superintendents on the job. They're working through logistics and schedules on site, as well as working with the subcontract foreman on site. But we do not self-perform any of the contract work that we do. We're construction managers, and we sign contracts where we're responsible basically for the construction schedule, for the construction process, the means and methods. So we take the risk there. So that's general contracting or construction management at risk is kind of how that is termed.
Right. Okay. So you're not doing the work directly, but you take the risk of anything that doesn't work right.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. Got it. And you said before that you're doing work now in New England. How did you find the subcontractors out, on the other side of the East Coast to do the work for you?
So one of the project managers that I had worked with previously at one of the previous companies that I was with had built a project up in the market, I guess about 24 months prior. And so when he came on board, I had worked with him at another company for a number of years. So he had some of those relationships, and then we really basically tapped into a group of subcontractors that he knew, and then they kind of really gave us the guidance on, who they would see on projects similar to ours, and the type of work. And then we just continued to build a team up in that market and build a trade base that built the type of products that we build. It's not, the Southeast is known for having apartments throughout. The Northeast doesn't have really the same type of products that we build, the multifamily, and they're not as prevalent. There's not as much of a market. So, it became really focusing on the trades that had the understanding of building and utilizing their expertise in the marketplace to be successful.
Right. Now, I take it in terms of vetting your subcontractors, how do you do that? Is it just simply doing reference checks, getting recommendations, or is it the way that you do your construction? If a subcontractor is not doing work up to snuff, you just replace them right away and fix whatever they did wrong?
Yeah, so we work closely with the trades. We do vet them to make sure that they have similar projects that they've worked in the marketplace. We have also, we'll look through their financials. We'll look through previous work. We'll go visit job sites that they're working on. So we have a heavy vetting process on the front end. Once they go through that process and they're on projects with us, we work with them. It's the first time that we're working together as a team, and that's truly how we view it. So their success is going to be our success as well. There's, if any one of them is looking at, well, I'm going to get rich off of this one project, that's not the mentality that we're looking for. So we really look at, that they see it the same way we do, that it's a partnership, that, we're going to help make them successful. We're going to, have ideas. They're going to have ideas, and we're going to work together to make sure that those ideas are heard and vetted, and that, that they're making money, we're making money, and our development teams are making money, because that's really the best of all worlds.
Yeah. I have to say the construction industry kind of gets a bad rep for, for contractors not really doing quality work, not doing it on time, and so on. Is that more so at the retail level as opposed to the commercial level?
No, you see it throughout the market. I mean, it's unfortunate but there are, in every industry, I would say, that there's people that do things the right way, and there's people that cut corners.
Yeah.
So you're going to experience that in any industry. I think it's probably, as you said, kind of becomes a running joke within the contract world, that, the contractors are always out to make more money or to do change orders. And that's really where we focus with our clients, to eliminate that stuff on the front end, so that all costs that we can possibly associate with the job are, found up front, identified, and basically incorporated into the original budget. And our development teams really appreciate that extra level of work that we do.
Yeah, you want to get it right at the beginning, right? Because it's more costly to fix it at the end. So
it's more costly, it's more timely, and that's where the relationship gets fouled. Is when you're saying, I know that it was this up front, but now it's going to be this, and here's the reasons why, your design team or whatever didn't do this, or, it just makes it more difficult when you're trying to figure out what problems are and pointing fingers. It's much easier to work together on the front end, alleviate some of those issues, as many as you can, and then really those conversations become fewer and fewer.
Yep, definitely. That's definitely the optimal path. So from a business growth perspective, your business, I believe, started in 2014. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yep, 2014. In that first year, you did $829,000, which is a pretty chunky amount in the first year. And then 4 years later, you're at $97 million. So that's a huge increase. What were the drivers behind that?
You know, I had been in the industry for 11 years prior, so I had really good relationships. I had, trade partners, development partners that followed us as we started the company. But then it was also really a referral base that helped drive our growth. We were getting referrals from design partners, whether it be architectural teams or civil engineering teams, structural design teams that were giving us referrals to their developers that they were working with when they were saying, who should we talk to? Who do we need to build this project? And time again, we were getting great referrals from people that I had relationships in the industry, knew how we were operating, and knew what we were doing. So it allowed us to pick up clients, and we were able to make sure that those clients had the same goals and ideas that we had about development and construction, and it really allowed us to create a great core group of clients and build on them, and have successful projects time and time again. So that's been the biggest driving factor, is just having that referral base that really supports that has supported our growth and has led to the project volume that we've been able to contract.
Right. So growing from 829,000 to 97 million, that was done entirely through referrals and doing more client work.
Well, it was relationships, and it was some of the projects were bid projects. We went into them looking at as investments. So as we grew the company, as we grew new opportunities, new development partners, we focused on those partnerships. And there were projects that we spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on and invested a lot that we didn't end up getting awarded at the end of the day. But where that paid dividends is the second round of projects that those developers that, we didn't get the first round, but the second round, what we told them and the feedback that we gave them was right on point, and they saw it when they went into construction and went with another general contractor. And they basically said the value was given, and there was value to what we were doing. So now we're negotiating projects with them. And for a contractor to, I can sit here today and say, we have, these projects that we're operating on, and we have nearly 300 million in our pipeline of construction projects that we're negotiating with our development partners that will carry us, through 2019 and into 2020. And we're having those conversations this early on. One of our development partners, we're working on a project now. I'll be up in Connecticut meeting with them on a project that will not break ground until January of next year. So we're spending that much time with our with the design team, with the developer to help them make sure that the product that they're investing in is what they're getting, and that their dollars go as far as they can through the construction process.
So when you're helping these developer partners a year in advance, now you've already been, you're already, how should I say it? You're already engaged with them. You're already won the contract with them, or this is still preliminary work?
No, I mean, we're negotiating these contracts, at this point. So we know we're going to do the work, a year from now. So I can sit here today and, if everything that we did was on a bid basis, I would know that I was going to have to bid at least, 20 jobs. If the odds are you're going to get 50-50, and we want to do 10 to 15 projects a year, is kind of our goal. So if I'm going to get 10 jobs, I've got to bid, at least 20 jobs for the opportunity. But instead, for us, we make those investments up front, and we're not bidding 20 jobs and spending all of that money chasing work that we may not get. We really focus on the client and say, okay, we're going to build this job. So, when the job comes to a schematic design, we get engaged with the client. When it comes to design development, we're engaged with the client. when it comes to construction documents, we've been engaged with the client, and each step along the way, we've given them guidance and budgets and where we're seeing the project come in and where we're seeing projects in and around their projects come in. So we're able to give them that market feedback as well.
Okay. So when you say you're negotiating with the contractor, does that mean there's a potential there that these contracts aren't going to work out and nothing will come of it? Or is it more of a letter of intent has been signed and you're just working out the details?
It's really, like I said, it's really become a partnership with most of our developers. So, they give us, an email, letter of intent saying that, the intention is that this project is going to move forward and Live Oak Contracting is going to build the project. We don't charge them for our time. That's where we look at the value of doing the pre-construction and being there throughout the project so that we can give them the guidance. And if we've had projects that literally from SD, schematic design, this is what we envisioned for this project, to final design documents, and we're bidding the project. We've had projects come in that are, there's a 2% delta between what was bid and what was final constructed from their initial vision of what the project was going to be to actually putting a shovel in the dirt, a 2% delta over a year period. And it was because we were able to, work through a budget on the front end, fine tune it, make sure that it met the budget, make sure that they knew what it was. I mean, good or bad news, we want to give it to them up front so that, they're not spending a lot of money, all through this phase. And then all of a sudden, the project's too expensive. It's not going to work.
Yep.
So we have those conversations, those budgetary conversations up front, and really, give them the guidance that they need so that they understand what the markets are and the cost, and make sure that it's going to work up front. Because if it works up front, we spend enough time going through this process and knowing this market that we can tell them, 6 or 8 months from now, this is where you're going to be in this project. So. Right.
So I take it, and these projects, because of the partnerships and what you mentioned before, they're already intending to work with you, getting the design down, and then when it's time for you to do the actual construction, there's some price involved, which you've already factored in your time for all the efforts you put in on helping them come up with the design and the frameworks and the guidelines, right?
That's right. That's right. It's in the cost of the work, and once the construction moves forward, we get funded on the work up front, and it's just part of the construction cost.
Right. Okay. And it doesn't go out to bid at this point, right? Because you're the only
Correct.
contractor that's going to do that. Okay, got it. Yeah, it's a good scenario. I could see how that's a good win-win for everyone on that front. Now, how many clients did you have back in 2014, and how many do you have today at 97 million, or rather at the end of 2018?
Yeah, in 2014 we had I came out with 2 clients that we started doing work for, and we did a number of commercial projects as well coming out, just because there were opportunities. Basically we had the staff to staff those types of projects. So we did some commercial work, and then did smaller projects kind of starting out with our development teams. And then now we're working with 8 different clients between New England and the Southeast. And like I said, we really focus on, their current project that we're building for them, and then working through pre-construction on their next, their pipeline of projects. And some of the development firms that we work with, they have a couple of development teams, and we may be working with one of their development teams. They're doing, 4 or 5 projects a year, and one of their development teams we're partnered with. And so what we're seeing is we're also expanding within companies as well. One of the companies that we work for has groups that manage regions, and they've basically, made the introduction for for us with the group that manages, Tennessee and Alabama, so that, they're looking for us to kind of, do you want to engage in these markets? So it kind of pushes us to spread without really having to go to a different development group and have to learn somebody new and understand how they operate. We have those relationships. We know how they're going to work, and then we just kind of go from project to project with them, and they see the benefit in it, and we understand how to make sure that that we're giving them everything that they're requiring.
Right. So the two that you were working with in 2014, are you still working with them today?
Yes, we are.
So over the span of 4 years, you picked up 6 new clients, and those came pretty much from referrals.
Yes.
Nice. And how many clients did you speak to, engage, pitch to, who chose not to work with you?
I'd probably say just as many as we have at this point. I mean, we've worked with, we've done some design development. We've only had one development group that basically, as we went through the design phases of the project and kind of helped them and had a pre-construction service contract with them, and we had one group that basically didn't follow through with that pre-construction service contract, or going to contract afterwards. Other than that, we had bid opportunities that we've bid certain clients and did not do the work. We have bid some jobs. We were awarded a project and then got to a contract that they sent over, and the contract was not favorable terms for us, and it was not something that that would have been a beneficial contract for us at the time.
Right.
So we actually turned a project down that we had been awarded, and obviously that client moved on to the next general contractor. And but we do look at what we do as a partnership, and the developers that we work with have that same mentality and understand it, and it works much better than having someone that in contract language is far superior in the performance, or far more elevated within the contract documents than the general contractor. So we look for a fair and even contract between, we're here to do a good job for you. That understanding is put into the contract, and there's consequences if not, but we always make sure that we deliver a great product and the best product for our development partners. So
right. Yeah, I mean, just from what you shared with me, it sounds like for the most part your conversion rates are pretty high once someone is referred to you.
Yeah. No, on referrals, we've done very well with conversion. There's on clients that we've pursued and did not have, and we've bid projects. We didn't get some, and if we bid 2 projects with one group, and we're just a bidding service, then we've kind of on the next project we'd rather spend our time with the client that sees the value in what we're providing versus just being a bidding service. So
yeah, well, inherently the developers who put projects out to bid, right, they might be a bit more interested in the final price than as opposed to a partnership type relationship as to what you prefer.
Yeah, there are some development firms that they have a requirement, whether it's from their equity partner or whoever, that they have at least one other bid. And I have absolutely no issue, working with a development group that I know that I'm going to bid against another qualified general contractor. But we've had opportunities to bid projects where there were 4 or 5 GCs, and that just means they're looking for the lowest number on the project. They're not looking for a partnership or anything. They're just looking to get the bottom line number on the deal, and not really, that's their goal, that's their interest. So,
Right.
and we're not going to be the cheapest one on the block. We're going to know the project. We're going to be able to sell them the best project because we know the project better than anyone else.
Right. Got it. So Paul, I took a look at the numbers that you shared with me in terms of the number of clients you work with back in 2014 versus today, and compared it to your revenue. So back in 2014, you did about 900K on 2 clients, so about 450K per client. And then in 2018, you have 8 clients and you did 97 million, which is, about $12 million per client. So a huge bump up here. How did that happen? How did you increase the amount of work that you're doing with the clients?
I would say a lot of it, when we came out, we really focused on, the size of the projects. We wanted to make sure that they made sense for us. Jumping into a $25 or $30 million project right out of the gate was not going to be something that, it was going to take a heavy toll financially, make sure that we had the finances to support it. So we didn't focus on those style projects. We focused on doing, whether it was renovation work or phase 2 style projects, where the dollar values were less within the project. So as we grew the business and stabilized and invested, the earnings back into the company, we were able to pick up and do larger projects. So over the years, it allowed us to really step up the style and type of projects, and really going from doing, probably on average, our contracts were somewhere in the $7 to $15 million range. So all of a sudden, our average projects now are $30 million. Sorry. So it really, has changed the dynamic. I mean, we're doing all new ground up projects now. We're not doing rehabs or renovations or phase 2 projects where they're adding 2 or 3 buildings to an existing community. But we're taking all of that work on, basically from start to finish, and those style of projects. So it's really grown the size of the project, and then, also with construction costs over the past couple of years, continuing to increase. That has pushed what, these projects a couple of years ago were $25 to $28 million, and now all of a sudden they're, $30 million to $35 million. So that the number of projects, while it hasn't changed a great deal, probably from 2016 to 2019, we were doing, 6 to 8 projects a year. The dollar value of those projects has increased, just because of construction costs, because of the market. So we've seen that play a part of those increased revenues, and then just, the way that people are, looking for products to be delivered, the amenities that are going into the communities, and what they're looking for has pushed the market rate of those projects up more and more year over year.
Right. Got it. So for 2019, what are your targets? You're at 97 million at the end of 2018. What are you shooting for 2019?
Right now, our pipeline, if our projects start within the pipeline that we have, will, right now our projection is about 190 million in revenue in 2019.
Just to make sure I heard you correctly, 190 million, 190.
Yep.
Okay.
190.
Well, that's a big
So
bump.
some of that comes in from projects that we've contracted at the end of 18. So our project durations are typically, our project durations are typically about 20 to 24 months. So, if we start a project in the fourth quarter of 18, the heavy portion of that project is being built through 2019. So with the contracts that we signed at the end of last year and the contracts that we anticipate to sign in second quarter and going into third quarter and fourth quarter of this year, obviously we'll have different revenues off of those different start dates. But right now we're projecting, that our revenues based on those starts would put us around 190 million.
Okay, so your 2019 numbers are pretty firm because it's all based on contracts that you've already won, and now they're being executed now, and you're being paid as you're doing the work. So how about for
as we break down,
as you break ground, right? And then how about why don't we look a little bit further ahead to 2020? Now I guess that might be a bit more uncertain because you may not have contracts yet.
It is, but I mean, also if we break ground on depending on when we break ground on some of those projects, it would push our revenues. And if we did not sign anything into 2020, right now we're carrying about 260 million into 2020 through the end of 2019. So, those are, and it's all based on, the dollar values of those projects and the project duration. So,
right.
So if we get those projects onboarded, we'll, depending on how much revenue goes from 2019 to 2020, and then some of those projects will just by the dates of when they're executed go into 2021.
Okay, so for 2020, you're anticipating, based on the current contracts and timing, that you might be at 260 million revenue. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah.
All right. Of course, that's all subject to changes, right? If the contracts get delayed or there are major changes, I imagine.
Correct, and timing of those changes.
Right. Okay. So, what's the biggest challenge and obstacle you have right now in regards to growing your business further?
The biggest challenge is people, and finding the right people to put in that have the same culture ideas that we've created here. So it really is putting finding, locating, having the right teams looking for that support staff. But I tell in most all of the interviews that I've had with new staff, I tell everybody, there's not one thing that I do or that our director of construction does or our project managers do in a day that makes us successful. It's what the team is able to accomplish that allows us to be successful. So, and that includes our vendors, our subcontractors, our design teams and development partners. It has to become that team, and really finding the right people that have that understanding and that are able to come on board and not have the mentality of, if it's not right, I'll just send a back charge, or if it's not right, I'll send a change order. And really building that culture has been important as we've built the company, and it continues to be. So it's finding the right people to fit into the culture and continue that growth.
Yeah. Are you finding it hard in the sense that you might interview 100 people and only one might be a good fit? Is it like that kind of difficulty you're talking about?
Probably not that great of a number, but we definitely will interview 20 people and have one candidate that stands out. So I mean, it does get to a point where you're going through a number of resumes, and you only find one or two people within that group that is really a standout candidate that you want to bring on. And it takes time, effort, energy, and money to bring those people in, to make sure to vet them and make sure that they're going to fit the culture, so that you're not bringing them in and then 3-4 months later they're moving on to the next opportunity or the next project with another GC. So we spend some time trying to vet, make sure that we understand the people that we're bringing on.
So the people who stand out, what are those qualities that make them stand out?
It's really an understanding of construction and having the background to understand and provide information. What we see and what I continue to be drawn to are people that are more senior in the industry that basically are, say, look, I have the knowledge and I want to be able to train some people. I want to bring some people in around me um, and train people with the knowledge that I have. So it's really bringing people in that want to be mentors to, a younger generation. We've created a internship program here at Live Oak, and we've had 5 interns that we have placed for full-time work as they've graduated. And part of that, I think, is that we've created a team of people who are willing to teach, the younger generation of, how to build, how to understand construction, how to go out into the field and see things in different ways. That it's not just, there's always more than one way to accomplish something, and not to just be the dictator on site that tells somebody you have to do it this way because this is how I was taught. There's always more than one way. There's when there's problems, there's 6 or 7 solutions. It's just finding the best solution to those problems and getting them resolved, and having men on board that want to train and want to be mentors. I think that's something that men and women that's important, and that seems to be the people that we continue to attract and actually bring on to Live Oak.
Right now, is the hiring of the people who are a good fit, is this a limiting factor to your growth right now?
It is. Some. I mean, we're, like I said, we interview 20 people and find one out of 20. So it takes time to find the right people. But it's also, we make the investment. I mean, we've worked closely with probably 5 or 6 different recruiting firms at this point to make sure that we're getting as much talent brought in for us to review as possible. And we've hired through those recruiting firms, and then also through referrals and word of mouth. And it seems that we get the referrals are obviously great, because those are typically people that we're working with that understand how we're operating, so they know what type of person we're looking for. So those referrals are critical, because we get there's more placement within the referrals than there are probably just within the headhunters and seeing resumes and looking through resumes. So
right.
Referrals are typically easier placements for some of those positions, just because the people that are bringing them to us know what we're looking for and know who we want to be known with.
Right. Now, how about in terms of finding new business, finding new clients, finding new projects within your current clients? Is there a challenge there?
No. We've last year we turned down more work than what we contracted as far as dollar value of work. There has been an immense opportunity within our market, and there have been some GCs that have chased every bit of it, that say yes to everybody. It's not something that is they just want to increase revenues. They just want to keep going. And I do feel like we've said no and understand what we're capable of, probably more than a lot of others. And I think that has benefited us to where we've seen clients come back and, that we wanted to do business with them. We bid a project. We didn't get the project. And the GC that they selected took on, 4 or 5 other projects at the same time that they took on their project. And, we're seeing them come back to us and say, yeah, we made the wrong decision there. We probably should have, gone with you guys. We didn't. We've learned. And, this next project that we have, we'd like to know if y'all will engage and bid this project for us. So we have those types of opportunities that come to us, and depending on the development group, we've engaged, and we've some of it depending on their time frame. If they've come in and said, hey, we've got this project and we're looking to break ground in the next 3 months, because of the pipeline that we have and the way that we work with our development teams, and if it's a new development company, we've had to turn some of those. We really want to do business with you guys, but a project start in 3 months does not work for us in the pipeline. We have, 5 projects that are scheduled to start in the next 3 months, and there is no way that we can put another one into that pipeline and be successful for you. So I'd rather turn it down and you come to me the next time than tell you, yeah, we'll do it. I'll figure it out and hope that we do, and maybe we don't, and we fail on that project. So, so we do focus on, making sure that we can be successful at that project and not just accept a project just to say, hey, we got another project on board. And I think that's benefited us. We had to turn a client that we're doing pre-construction. It came from a referral from an architecture firm that we worked with on a project. It was the first time we worked with them, and they gave us a referral to one of their clients on a project that is scheduled to start in 2020. And it fits the pipeline. It's a good timing for us. They came to us just last week and said, hey, we have this one, and it's actually scheduled to start in July of this year. Would you be willing to bid it for us? We basically said it doesn't fit. We want to do your work, but let's focus on this project that we have the time to do design development with you and everything, versus just jumping into a project that's a quick start that we haven't had any involvement in. Sorry. That the design team, it's a different design team, so we don't even know the architecture firm and how they operate. So we've had to turn down projects like that we want to work with the firm, but the quick start doesn't fit for us. So,
right. And other reasons you turn down projects might be one, the pricing doesn't make sense for you. You to do the level of work that you want to accomplish. I suppose that might be another reason why you say no.
Yeah, I mean, I had a call with one of our clients today that they sent us a schematic design in, and we had kind of an initial phone call with them about, okay, where do you think this is going to come in? So we gave them that price range, and we're doing a project for them right now that we just finished pricing. And they basically said, well, we kind of felt like it was a better product, a little bit more expensive, but we were only going to do about this much more per unit in cost. And we basically told them, look, your design team knocked it out of the park as far as design. It'd be a beautiful project, but you're looking at a much more expensive project than what we're building for you right now. And we're just upfront with them. At the same time, I don't want them going and spending $200,000 or $300,000 developing and designing a project that at the end of the day, the budget is not going to work.
Right.
I'd much rather look at understand their budget, know what they're looking to spend, and tell them this works and this doesn't. And if this is where you're looking to be, then you need to, you need to pass on this one and let's go find another site.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there's actually a building near here, without being too specific. But I go through this building and I kind of feel like something happened midstream, because the building looks like it's set up to be this way, but it looks like they ran out of money or something and they had to cut corners at the end because it doesn't look like it was finished properly.
Yeah.
So, 3 last questions for you. If you were to have a billboard for your company, for Live Oak Contracting somewhere on a fast-moving freeway, what would be your billboard message? And keep in mind that people only have 6 seconds to see the billboard before they drive by. So it has to be a bit short.
I think it would be, we would obviously put our logo. We've done a lot within our within the market that we operate in, the multifamily industry. We've done a lot to brand ourselves and to have a logo that stands out. So it would definitely be our logo. And then I would put our our company slogan or motto, which is building long-term partnerships based on integrity. And I think that that's something that is sometimes missed in our industry, and I think that it's with our clients. I know it's appreciated, and I know they value that. So I think the client that saw that would pick up the phone and make the call.
Yeah, definitely. If it resonates with them, why not?
Yep.
And the two last questions: who are your ideal clients, and what's the best way for them to contact your team?
Our ideal clients are multifamily developers that that focus on the multifamily industry. There's a lot of people within the last few years, because of how well multifamily has done, that they've jumped into the market and they've tried to develop and didn't really have a good understanding of what the deliverable was and what they were looking to build. And there were products put out there that probably shouldn't have been built, or they shouldn't have been built the way that they were, similar to what you were just saying about the project that started off as one way and then it kind of finished as another, and you're kind of like, there's some disconnect here.
Yeah.
I think we look for clients that understand the multifamily industry, understand what the deliverables are, and understand how to develop the products that we're building. The best way that we reach them is I speak at a number of conferences every year. So we get in front of them and get the opportunity to speak with them. And then, also through our architectural teams and design teams that we work with, we do focus on those relationships, because if it's a bad relationship with the designer, it's probably going to be a bad project if everyone's fighting. And that's really where we see a lot of trouble brews between, a designer that says, that designed one thing, and a contractor that's trying to build something that maybe doesn't work. So that's where we really do focus on the front end of the projects and making sure that the constructability reviews and that the design teams that we work with, those are the firms that we work with over and over again. No matter who the developer is, there's really a select group of design teams and architects that understand our industry, that focus on it. And that's really where we focus on, building our clients and understanding what those designers are working towards, helps us be successful with the development partners.
Right. And for the ideal clients you mentioned, the developers who are really, it's their thing, the multifamily developments, how can they best contact your team?
We're on the internet, through our website. They can reach out to our office directly. I have a director of pre-construction for new projects. We have a director of marketing and business development in the office. We have a director of business development as well. So we do, like I said, we spend a lot on that front end relationship, and I think that's what has really helped us, has really set us apart from the GCs that we work with in the industry as well.
Would you like to share your website domain or email addresses or phone numbers for people to contact?
Yep. So our website is www.liveoakcontracting.com, and the main office number is 904-497-1500. And Catherine Rutel, Milton Cristaverde, and Kevin Powell head up our pre-construction team and business development, as well as myself. So Milton and Kevin and Catherine are typically in the office, and if not, they're out marketing or doing business development. So really, those are the two best ways to reach us, is just picking up the phone and giving us a call, or emailing me direct at paulb@liveoakcontracting.com.
All right, fantastic. Paul, it's been great having you on my show today. I really enjoyed hearing how you grew your company so fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about it.
We've been speaking with Paul Bertozzi, the president and CEO of Live Oak Contracting, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.